I'm so happy to meet you because this is what people think. They see me on TV. They say, "Well, you on?" I said, "I'm always on. The show is always on." I saw you a few years ago, maybe a year ago or whatever, on public access, and I was just shocked. That's why I have the doctor on, y'all. Here's a brother talking black in 2007. I can't get over it, man. Are you out of your mind? Because I'm saying in 2007 we have African Americans. I always tell children in the public schools. I said what it means to be African Americans always change, and it's about to change to the point where it won't mean anything. Then I go into my brief dissertation that of course I don't have a unifying theme to it, but that's what I do. And I say because we're integrated, and some of us have over the time have become homogenized. And the rest of us, I like to say, are marginalized. And some days I'm homogenized, and some days I'm marginalized. So you are a college professor at UIC here in Chicago, but I'm surprised that they allow you to talk black. Now, I mean, explain to me, where you get that passion to telling the truth in this modern time?
Well, the first piece is that I'm born and raised in Chicago.
Born and raised in Chicago.
And being at a school that's a public university in Chicago, in a college of education.
Right.
Two real simple things. I mean, if you got a public institution in a city, then you should be serving the city.
Right.
And who's in the city?
Okay.
Black and Latino folk.
Right.
Now, the population of teacher candidates that we're putting out into public schools don't look that way. There's still majority white women.
Right.
And I just kind of thought about it super practically. How do you actually, you're in Chicago, you know who's in public schools in Chicago, but we can't tell the truth because my thing is who are we feeling? There's nothing, what black folks are going through right now, the situation is so serious, there's nothing to lose. Might as well tell the truth.
But it's only serious for those of us who are marginalized, those of us who either can't integrate or refuse to integrate. Those are the ones of us that's kind of catching hell.
Well, see, even of people who are quote unquote made it, they still aren't on the level of the folks who really understand what marginalization really means. Like I said, people who live way out in the burbs, got expensive amenities or what have you, they're still suffering. Even if that myth of material possession. I mean, they still at any given time, especially when you isolate yourself out of places like the burbs, now it's easy to come get you. So if something goes on, so we have to really think about that practically in terms of what does it actually mean to stand for something like education, like schools, like communities, collectively. And how do you actually demonstrate that? And then just looking, being born and raised here, and then just thinking about all the people who have been in Chicago and have since left. And I always tell folks, if you were in Chicago, it's 2007 now, if you were in Chicago in 1997, hadn't been back in 10 years, and you came back, you'll see a different place.
True.
And there's a reason behind that. It's not conspiratorial, but really a reason based in housing markets, based in the shift in education, and then whose bodies, whose lives are valued. So always asking this question. So when we're talking about how do you come to do that, that's just, to me, that's all in truth telling in terms of being in a place like Chicago. And understanding that this is not just an urban phenomenon, it's not just a U.S. phenomenon, it's an international phenomenon.
Doctor, I'm so glad you are doing what you're doing and speaking the truth as you see it, but some of your colleagues, and maybe some of your family, don't they think you crazy?
Yeah, you get it all.
Seriously.
Yeah, you get it all the time. You need to shut up.
Right.
What are you talking about? Look, they're going to come for you.
Right.